As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind. Let us never negotiate out of fear. But let us never fear to negotiate. There are risks and costs to action. But they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. We are tied to the ocean. And when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Domestic policy can only defeat us, foreign policy can kill us. Too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Man is still the most extraordinary computer of all. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive and unrealistic. Washington is a city of southern efficiency and northern charm. Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. Communism has never come to power in a country that was not disrupted by war or corruption, or both. I am the man who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris, and I have enjoyed it. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light the candle that can guide us through that darkness to a safe and sane future. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. If we cannot now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. There is always inequality in life. Some men are killed in a war and some men are wounded and some men never leave the country. Life is unfair. The best road to progress is freedom's road. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. I just received the following wire from my generous daddy: Dear Jack, don't buy a single vote more than is necessary. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a landslide. A young man who does not have what it takes to perform military service is not likely to have what it takes to make a living. Today's military rejects include tomorrow's hardcore unemployed. Now we have a problem in making our power credible, and Vietnam is the place. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. If anyone is crazy enough to want to kill a president of the United States, he can do it. All he must be prepared to do is give his life for the president's. Our growing softness, our increasing lack of physical fitness, is a menace to our security. In a time of domestic crisis, men of goodwill and generosity should be able to unite regardless of party or politics. Khrushchev reminds me of the tiger hunter who has picked a place on the wall to hang the tiger's skin long before he has caught the tiger. This tiger has other ideas. Politics is like football. If you see daylight, go through the hole. We believe that if men have the talent to invent new machines that put men out of work, they have the talent to put those men back to work. All free men, wherever they may live, are citizens of Berlin. And therefore, as a free man, I take pride in the words Ich bin ein Berliner. We would like to live as we once lived, but history will not permit it. The human mind is our fundamental resource. Do you realize the responsibility I carry? I'm the only person standing between Richard Nixon and the White House. The United States has to move very fast to even stand still. America has tossed its cap over the wall of space. I look forward to a great future for America, a future in which our country will match its military strength with our moral restraint, its wealth with our wisdom, its power with our purpose. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. No one has been barred on account of his race from fighting or dying for America. There are no white or colored signs on the foxholes or graveyards of battle. The pay is good and I can walk to work. I am sorry to say that there is too much point to the wisecrack that life is extinct on other planets because their scientists were more advanced than ours. It might be said now that I have the best of both worlds, a Harvard education and a Yale degree. My brother Bob doesn't want to be in government. He promised Dad he'd go straight. The basic problems facing the world today are not susceptible to a military solution. I'm always rather nervous about how you talk about women who are active in politics, whether they want to be talked about as women or as politicians. I am not the Catholic candidate for president. I am the Democratic Party's candidate for president, who happens also to be a Catholic. We have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world or to make it the last. Unconditional war can no longer lead to unconditional victory. It can no longer serve to settle disputes. Can no longer be of concern to great powers alone. When we got into office, the thing that surprised me most was to find that things were just as bad as we'd been saying they were.